As much as the Ronukus, the Ronu Nazis, the Lagos Abobakus, the Oshogbo Alimajiris, the humbled slaves, voluntary slaves, obedient fools, sophisticated morons, the bastards, bat idiots, even though those who support Bokwari, the cyberbarians, as much as they would love some of the lies they are being told by these criminals to be true, and then label people like us as bearers of bad news, the truth they love to hide, or the truth they love to avoid, we continue to stare them in the face. On Mayegun's Diary Politico, you are going to be told what is going on, the truth, no matter how inconvenient or uncomfortable it makes you. Right? This is a platform that we never call black, white, or call red, blue. Even if it makes you uncomfortable, we will still say it to you. The reason is because knowing the truth, will serve two purposes. The first one, it will kill the lie and the propaganda that they are feeding you. And the second one is that it will make you possibly act right. When you see those liars, paid urchins, cretins, online, offline, you can easily confront them with facts than the propaganda that they are feeding you with, so that you will stop hoping on lies. When they tell you something now, you want to wonder why it has not manifested. The reason is because most of them are lies. Even if you are so desperate for them to be true, they are still lies. On Mayegun's Diary Politico, you have a chance to know the truth. But it is your choice if you want to believe the lies. Ignorance is a choice. On Mayegun's Diary Politico, I didn't know, or I never knew that. It's nothing that we embrace on Mayegun's Diary Politico, except if you choose to be ignorant. And the ignorant ones, the ignoramuses, are the easy targets for Tifnumbu and his gang. If you tell them the truth, they can easily gaslight you and say you are enemy of progress, the bearer of bad news. It is not bad news if you tell the truth as it is, rather than color it, coloring the lies. No matter how many times you repeat a lie, it will never be the truth. The Nigeria economy is in shambles. No thanks to Tifnumbu's policies. Most of them, criminal policies. Nigeria is a criminal or a crime scene. And I do feel sorry for those who kind of want to give them a benefit of the doubt. There are those who feels like, yes, things are bad, but somehow, I wish some of the stuff they are doing is actually true. So they are blaming everyone. They've blamed everyone but themselves for the state of Nigeria, what they have done to you and what they have done to the generations yet unborn as well. So welcome to the Temple of Truth, a place where if it makes you uncomfortable, it simply means there is something wrong that you should not be part of. And if you are, it is around the time for you to, it's about the time for you to pull out. When they started this their Emilokon campaign, people need to understand something. As they say everywhere, elections have consequences. As much as we believe that Tifnumbu actually never really won any real election to be your president, except for the compromised institutions that should have stopped him. But there are those who did all they could as well to help legitimize this fraud. Among them are the working class. You see, Nigeria is a place where the real support for the artists, for your own, the creative sector of the country. Nigeria is a place where you can easily say people are self-made. When you see actors, actresses, when you see the creative industry in Nigeria, artists and all that, right? and those who have made name for themselves, you can easily tell that a lot of them, if not all of them, are self-made. There was nowhere policy-wise, government support, genuinely, that actually protects or promotes the talents of these artists in Nigeria. But unfortunately, some of those who have kind of made name for themselves, they ended up as the the promoters of the same criminals in government, whose policies will continue to deny them the full benefit of their own artistic value, the full benefit. You see artists all over the world. Some of them will do just one or two projects and they are made for life. In Nigeria, you will see artists who have made over 200 movies, but they are still beggars. Their works are not really protected. They themselves are not insured. They have worked and worked for decades and they are still wretched. The reason is not far-fetched. They are also their own enemies, self-sabotaging ignoramuses who support the criminal politicians in that contraption. Criminal politicians who usually uses them for their own political advancement. And once they get what they want, they move on from them. The Nigeria economy, even though Nigeria has a population that is still pretty much questionable, Nigeria's population is put at over 200 million people. But Nigeria is so poor that population is more or less like a curse, not a blessing. You see, the population of Nigeria would have been a great advantage to the people where the economic, value of this population is probably like average. The rest of the world will be killing to invest in Nigeria. But no, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. Netflix is a streaming, well, do I need to actually tell you about Netflix? Okay, Netflix, right? A streaming platform, movie streaming platform globally, is one of the most successful streaming, movie streaming platforms in the world. And then about 6 years ago, they ventured into Nigeria. Listen, there is difference between you subscribing to Netflix to watch all the movies all over the world, premium, standard, whatever, subscribe and then just watch all the movies on there. But Netflix went a little bit further. They saw there is a Nollywood called Nigeria movie industry is called Nollywood. It's a place where people have used very, very little budget to produce classic movies, as well as some other useless kind of movies too, right? But Nigeria movie industry captivated the rest of the world after India and then American. In fact, at a point, Nigerian movie industry sort of, supersede that of the American movie industry in the production, the amount of movies they are producing almost every day. But they are substandard qualities, most of them. 90% of them are pure substandard due to poor budgets or budgeting. However, 6 years ago, Netflix decided to venture into the Nigeria Nollywood. 6 years ago. It's not as if to say they've been there forever, right? Just 6 years ago. What did they do? They decided to start giving money to some filmmakers in Nigeria, okay? So that they will be producing the Netflix standard of movie or content for the consumption of the rest of the world. It was one of the most lucrative support that the Nigerian movie industry have received. They pumped money into them. 2 years ago, some of these supposed artists or filmmakers in Nigeria, they decided to go and endorse Tinubu for president. They went all out, forgetting about the damages that APC, Egbekegbe, has done to the people of Nigeria, their supposed viewers, the people that will be watching most of their movies. They didn't care. And majority of them, they did this simply because of their own selfish interest and short-sightedness. Elections have consequences. APC, Egbekegbe, has impoverished Nigerians. So out of 200 million people, Netflix only has about 1.2 million subscribers. Can you believe that? I hear that the most expensive Netflix subscription in Nigeria is somewhere around 10,000 naira or so. Someone said 5,000 naira. That's how poor Nigeria is. So the entire Nigeria is giving Netflix about $3.5 million every month with that population. However, they kept on hoping that maybe when things gets better, maybe more people can possibly be interested in subscribing for real and pay for it. So these selfish individuals got paid good money. Some of them even opened up film villages where they are producing different kind of movies and all that for Netflix. 6 years, or that's 4 years before 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, when some of them went on to go and publicly advocated for Tifnumbu, APC, Egbekegbe, 2 years after that, Nigerians have become more poorer, wretched, that Netflix was like, no, this is a wrong investment. Last week, they were called to what was called a dinner. And at that dinner, they told them they are pulling up, including all the projects that they were supposed to fund in 2025. They are pulling out. This is a mistake. We should never have been here. The people in this country are so poor, right, that they can't even afford to subscribe and actually watch your movies. It is a total wrong investment. From the horse's mouth, if you care to listen.
What we're doing is so important here, and I'm glad that Nida is talking about warehousing our content here first before moving it out. Now, Netflix came to serve the Last Supper here a couple of weeks ago. In case you are not aware, they invited our filmmakers to a party, but before then they had spoken to the people they had been dealing with. They were saying, look, we're pulling out, we're not doing business with you anymore. So it was what you might call a fatal Last Supper. You know, you agree with me, you know? Things like that should challenge us. It should provoke us, you know, because if you don't have challenges like that, you cannot see opportunities. You know, we cannot rely on them anymore. I want to say, what does that mean to you, and what advice, and what does that say to you, and what do you think, what are the lessons we should learn from that going forward? What do you think we can do, and how can government take advantage? Remember, he had suggested talking about a local, you know, a national, if you like, call it Netflix as well, or platform or whatever. So you're wearing the shoe. So speak to these two issues and yeah.
Okay. All right, again, thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this. Coming to Netflix, I've tried to really avoid this because, you know, it's really heartbreaking, you know. And it's a big blow, you know, on us, because, you know, in my head I've been thinking, how can we come from earning in dollars, like millions, and then you're now thinking, where will I put my film? 3 years ago, when we signed the 3 film deals with Netflix, you know, it was really exciting because it's like you've been given like a contract to say, for the next 3 years, we really don't care if you work for other people or do other things, but make one film for us per year. So that way you could focus on being a creative, because these things are already like, you have guarantee and you have funds, you know, to make them. But again, Netflix will say to you, oh, we're doing this primarily for Nigeria. So the budget you're being given is tied to what they earn in Nigeria. But these films are doing amazingly well all over the world. Just like Oga Muazu mentioned, I mean, a week after Adekolapo film was released, it topped #1 globally, you know, all over the world. And because of that, they commissioned the series the first season, and after the first season, they commissioned season 2 and 3. Thank God we have shot season 2 and 3, because all the other people who were commissioned the same time with us, they've been cancelled. The projects were cancelled. You know, and that is why sometimes you need to like move.
So what they are now saying is, you know, usually when companies leave Nigeria, the Ronukus will tell you that it is because they cannot compete. So a lot of people are now asking, maybe they will be telling you now to go and watch TVC. I'll be go and watch NTA. Must you watch Netflix? Prime Video was also in Nigeria at some point. And listen, it was a great opportunity. All right. For the rest of the world who are watching, for example, who are watching Nigerian content, okay, for those who have seen a lot of them, I have seen some too. And I can say I've seen so much improvement. Like when I watch some of the Nigerian movies on Netflix or Prime Video, I'm like, it's like good stuff, right? Compared to what we were used to. So, but there is a contract there that says, okay, if we give you this money, it actually costs so much to make this movie from the normal Nigerian standard to international standard. So now, creative artists like that in Nigeria, they do not have any access to government funding. They do not have access to probably bank loans. And even if they did, right, you can't compare that to where you have a liquidity that is just there from a giant streaming platform like Netflix, okay? Something that was pretty much like a gold mine for you. Exploit, use it, and build yourselves. So now it is gone. So you would have to go and search for that funding elsewhere if you want your content to be accepted by the Netflix standard. So to those of them who have actually tasted the honeycomb of having access to enough resources, it is a total heartbreaking and disappointment. And to Netflix, we expected your country people with this population, number one, right, to be the ones to, you know what, to show interest in your content. Look at India. India, that produces God knows how many movies in a week. They have this population, 1.4 billion people. And the Netflix subscribers in India, they are more than 300 million people who subscribe to Netflix in India. In Nigeria, with the population of over 200 million people, they only have subscribers in the range of 900,000 to 1 million people. Those who are paying for Netflix for real in Nigeria. So if we are not having this advantage, having put all this amount of money here, the economy of Nigeria is so down that rather than for it to improve, it's been a total loss for us. So the least we can do is we are exiting Nigeria or putting our money there. Doesn't mean that those of you who subscribe to Netflix in Nigeria you will still watch Netflix. So but what Nigeria has lost right now is the creative world where they put money to help your artist. It is that money that is no longer there anymore. And that means you would have less and less and less of Nigeria content on Netflix, which means a lot of you probably would end up canceling it. I don't even know if some of you watches it, because I've seen a lot of you complaining that these Nigerian filmmakers is like they are already abusing this privilege on Netflix because of almost some substandard storyline, repetitive storylines. This is the consequences of a fraudulent election. They are brought in a criminal who is your president, who is telling you today that you have been living a fake good life. And it is going to get worse. In the last 8-9 years of APC, they've lost the major generational businesses that have left Nigeria due to failed economic policies of APC. Egbekegbe. You have GSK, GlaxoSmithKline Nigeria, who left under Bokwari. You've got Equinox Nigeria, Sanofi Aventis Nigeria Limited, ShopRite Nigeria Limited, ShopRite Nigeria, who have left majority of your cities, right? You've got GSK Consumer Nigeria Limited. You have a Unilever, they've left. Procter & Gamble, they've left. Gorgeous Metal Makers, they've left. Errand Products have left. Mother's Pride Ventures Limited, Universal Rubber Company, Shores Foam Limited, Mufex Nigeria Limited, Nasco Fiber Product Limited, Union Trading Company. You have the Daily Food Nigeria Limited, Tower Aluminium Nigeria Limited, Framan Industry Limited, Stone Industries Limited. You have, here is another set. Well, Sanofi Apprentice. You've got Both Food and Jumia Food Nigeria, Microsoft Nigeria, Total Energy Nigeria, right? They divested. That's what they said. You've got a PZ Cousins left. Kimberly Clark Nigeria. Their Geol PLC. You've got now Netflix. There are many, like they've had over 100 major businesses that have left Nigeria under APC. Egbekegbe. They are like, I'm talking about, this is what created the total unemployment that you are witnessing in that contraption, which Steve Numbu came and said that you are all employed. Only 4.8% of you are unemployed. They are doctoring figures and they are telling you that it is not that bad. In fact, it has gotten so better for you under Steve Numbu, APC, Egbekegbe. So tonight, it is just to remind everyone that elections have consequences, and this is just the beginning. Everybody go collect, everybody, including those who believe that they are untouchable, it no go affect them. Everybody go collect. Just wait for your turn by turn, Nigeria Limited. Just yesterday, there was a news that broke, and it's a big scandal. According to the report, the Nigerian police IG, the same guy, Egbetokun, was fingered in a scandal of moving money, new notes printed by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Billions of Nigerian naira has been moved from the Central Bank of Nigeria through the FCT, Abuja's airport, to Lagos airport. They are moving money, printed money from the Central Bank. So in one of the cartels moving the money, the police assigned to them to guide the money. They stole 43 million naira from the recent move of 75 million naira. You see, I'm talking about, they'll print money. Some will take it and they will move it to the west. So it became a big thing that there is a cartel working with Kadobi, Isaleko Emefiole, right? The central bank governor and other people within that space in the Central Bank of Nigeria. They have been moving this money, running into billions of naira. So some of the policemen that they have been using to protect and guide the money through the airport down to the west, they now play the smart one. So when they got exposed, or when that became an issue, they just went on and said, well, they are working for the police IGs are where. So this morning, the same Igbetokun decided to send this PPRO to say, no, he's not involved. Though. The scandal is just some element of the police who have been doing this shady deal, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't want you to believe them, but I just want you to hear the defense of the police IG on top of this scandal. Yeah.
The Nigeria Police Force has noted with concern the recent allegations circulating in the media, suggesting that the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Adeolu Egbetokun, PAD, NPM, is shielding